Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we're live on a Saturday morning, ready to give you some feedback. Find us everywhere you get podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. Leave us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. We read those. We love those. We appreciate those. Leave comments on our website, theblackguywhotips.com. You can vote in the polls there as well. You can leave comments on YouTube. You can look in the show notes. Leave us voicemails at the Google voicemail number. And this is the episode for all of that. You can email us at theblackguywhotips@gmail.com. This is the episode for all of that.
Yes, it is.
I want to thank y'all for signing up for the coronavirus special. Got a lot of new signups for the sale. The sale is over. It's been over for 2 days.
Yes,
Some of y'all did try to wait till the very last second, as predicted. I tried to help out as many people as I could, but obviously the sale is over, so back to normal. But we appreciate y'all. Like I said, that money means a lot to us because honestly, even though it's a sale and we're losing quote unquote money, however you want to put that, it gives us money for the year. So we're knowing like this money is we can count on. And it helps us to do stuff for the show, whether it's planning these live shows that at this point we foot the bill for the live shows and then hope that we have enough people show up to offset the cost of what we did. So, and when we're doing stuff like booking JL Covan, paying for travel, paying for hotel, paying him to actually do his stand-up, that stuff is because of y'all. And so everyone who took the time, especially in these times where I know the world is so turbulent, people's financial futures are all over the place.
Right.
And just, plain, like people just stop fucking with you. People move on. Other things are more important to them. I get it.
You.
Ain't nobody mad at you, but just saying those things are part of life and they happen. And so, when those things happen, those are financial events for us as well. Many people getting laid off. What's one of the first things you're gonna cut? Your necessities. Yeah. So like
you hate to be like that, but
yeah. So like I really do mean it from the bottom of my heart. The people that sign up for that, the people that are premium, that pay monthly, the people that pay for a whole year, thank you, because y'all truly do keep this boat afloat and keep it so that we can give our unfiltered opinions and be ourselves without consequence. We're not worried about some corporate overlord censoring us or telling us what we can and can't say, or having to have like certain guests and people on our show, because how else are we gonna make it? Like we've been able to be ourselves successfully, and that is 100% because of all the people that put money in our pockets through various different means and get behind that paywall. So thank you to everyone who took the time to do that. The official weapon of the show is the folding chair, and the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
And bullet ball extreme. We're gonna get into all the stuff you guys had to say. But the first people we like to do to shout out are the people that actually go to our website. They look on the right-hand side, and you can actually donate to the show. You can put something on it. You can support the show through PayPal, one time, recurring, doesn't matter. Any amount, doesn't matter. We give you a shout out, and that's what we're about to do.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's own Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tie to the Black Guy Who Tips.
Today's a new day. Yes, that's right. New clams, new yams. I'm running out of rhymes, guys. This is harder than it looks. The streak has ended at 755 weeks in a row. Tabitha M, recurring donator. April G, Corey the Tickler, a wrong email in the wrong thing. Wonga from down under. Good day, mate. Marlon B, yes, Marlon B. Tiffany B, the B family is here. Palmetto Stone Magic, YRD Design, Alfonso M, Cal K, Jasmine J, and lastly James C. Thank you, everybody who put a little something in our pockets. Lil said, "What's that behind your ear?" Oh, it's a quarter. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, let's get right into these comments on our website, guys. Okay, it's happening. You guys went to the blackouttips.com. You saw the episode that you wanted to talk about, and you said, I have something to say.
Mm-hmm.
And the first episode of last week was 3094. Y'all had something to say.
Y'all did. That was a long ass show.
We had 8 comments.
That's a lot.
Oh, okay.
and they,
Thought you
and
was gonna say y'all had something
I was
to say.
I was about to say, and they did. Y'all had something to say.
Okay. We've come to expect a certain brand from you. Oh, you know what? I'm skipping a step. This is my fault. 5-star reviews.
Oh, we
My
got
bad.
some? Yay.
We got to go back to this. 5-star reviews. I had my tabs in the wrong order. We did get some new ones.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, you know we love some new 5-star reviews,
Mhm.
okay? And y'all left 4 new ones.
Let's go. And if you overseas, I don't know, take a screenshot, send it to us, because apparently Apple will not allow us to see them.
Great podcast by My Monkey 99. 5 stars.
What a name.
My Monkey is that slang for? And you know what? I'm not gonna ask. Love your chemistry and authenticity. I laugh and get mad when you do politics until we get mad. I listen all the time. Such a great podcast. Thank you, My Monkey 99.
Thank you.
Love it from Grayson Rowe, who says 5 stars. Loved all the commentary for Kendrick, SZA, and Sinners. I'm going to see Sinners for a 3rd time this coming week in the 70mm, and I'm so excited to watch it after hearing all the commentary. Thanks for all the laughs and insight throughout the year and a half of me listening. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. And yeah, a lot of people going to see it 3 and 4 times. I'm jealous of the people that get to see them on like them big old screens. Is it like in New York or LA? I would love to see that version of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because we do get like the IMAX, but it's I don't think it's the same as that, because there's like a big huge screen. I like from the pictures I see online.
I mean, I understand that there's only a handful of those theaters in the United States, period.
Okay.
And I don't think that we have that option close to us. So
okay.
So I don't, I don't know if it's something we can do like locally.
Right.
I'm not even sure where the closest one to us would be.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I think I'm just typing in 70mm IMAX near me, and I don't even, there's 30 in the world that are equipped to play 70mm format.
Oh,
so I don't think
I don't think Charlotte, North Carolina is one of the locations.
Yeah, I don't think so. For us, I don't know if there's how many there are. There's a big ass screen at IMAX for a Discovery Place, but that's not
that's not
the same in my opinion.
No, it's not.
So yeah, only 8 US theaters showing IMAX Sinners in 70mm form.
Wow.
I'm looking for the 8 that locations, so maybe y'all can go because we can't.
Right.
Let's see. We got Arizona, Harkins, Arizona Mills, 18 in IMAX. California, Regal, Irvine, Spectrum, Universal Cinema, AMC, City Walk in Hollywood, and AMC Metron 16 in San Francisco. So that's Irvine, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Indianapolis, Indiana, New York City, and Texas. So no.
Okay.
All right, now back to that.
Thank you.
Damn it, Karen! Fist to the sky is the title of this 5-star review from Unrelaxed Missy. We were on a streak. You hear me? I feel like at work, I work at warehousing, and the days since accident went back to 0. Oh, Lord.
Damn.
Crying emoji.
Right. We had to reset the number.
On a serious note, I love y'all show. Also, this particular title about Daystar and his clout chasing hijinks. Upside down smiley face. I Shari Richardson to leave a review. Keep doing what you're doing and pumping these laughs into the universe. Thank you.
Thank you. Yay. I'm glad. I've been trying to keep the streak going, y'all, but I can't. We get them one day, so I get on the road, and that be it. But most of the time, I've been pretty consistent.
This one's from 3 days ago from Demetrius D, who says the black guy who tips is the title, 5 stars. Just an update to on my review, still going strong, 5 stars. Congratulations on the gym journey. Nothing but more greatness ahead. Hope y'all ready to receive it. Thank you, Demetrius.
Thank you.
And yeah, I appreciate the congratulations.
Me too.
All right, there we go. Now we can get into these episodes. 3094, y'all had something to say.
Y'all did.
8 comments. Appia says, I liked what Karen said about feminism. I'm a feminist and define it as seeing women as humans who have all the same rights and choices as men. If someone asked me if I'm a feminist, I would say yes, but maybe try to soften it like I'm a sensible and realistic feminist, you know? So obviously, I also have some issues to commit to it completely. It's interesting to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. You either embrace it in its totality or you don't, and people don't want to see it that cut and dry. I feel the same way about that, and I feel the same way about being a Democrat. You either embrace it wholeheartedly for good, bad, or indifferent, or you don't. Like it's to the point where you can't straddle that line, and a lot of people like to straddle that line to make themselves feel good and to make themselves feel special and unique. Like, I'm not picking a side. Bitch, it's only 2 sides, left or right.
About the Neurology Congress, I think you would find it interesting, at least some parts. Stuff like why migraines are more common in women and what the menstrual cycle had to do with it. If migraines maybe prevent dementia, how myasthenia gravis is associated with the thymus gland tumors, and why this could be, how the future treatment of Miss Patient could look like. Does this sound boring? Maybe I don't know anymore, but I enjoyed it. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's really what's important.
You enjoyed it too.
Rona Raphael says, first of all, I love to give a shout out to the best podcast in the world. Of course, it's the Blackout Tips for the newbies in the house. And shout out to Dre for this fire voicemail. After Karen's solid breakdown, look what popped into my news feed. A story about a group of former GOP and libertarians, including Trump posters, trying to create a new third party that will target Michigan and mainly purple districts in 2026 to ensure that no party is able to win 222 seats to have a ruling majority in the House. You will have to negotiate with them despite holding a smaller number of seats if successful. I was trying to post an article from my Bing News feed here, but it wasn't working for some reason. It was originally from the Washington Post. On paper, the group sounds good, targeting only independents and young people, but the more I read, I saw red flags and thought about Andrew Yang's Ford Party from 4 to 5 years ago. One thing they all do, attack Democrats as if they were the same as the GOP.
Right, and you're wasting time.
EVE says, so I finally saw Sinners this past weekend and it was brilliant. I was surprised that on the 4th week it's been out in the theaters and the theater is still fairly full. It was a mostly white crowd, but then again, I live in a mostly white area. One couple walked out when it got to the gory stuff. Maybe no one told them it was a horror movie. I love seeing all that beautiful blackness, and Michael B. Jordan was acting his ass off. My favorite part was when those Klans members got lit up. I cackled loudly, like while most of the audience remained silent. I don't give a fuck. Jason Whitlock has to be a coon supreme to think the purpose of this movie was to make white people look bad. Like, seriously, if that's what he got from it, then I just know he let some little white girl call him nigga in bed and probably out of it too. I don't think anyone's sleeping with Jason Whitlock right now. I think that's the problem. He kind of hates himself, and that kind of energy doesn't bode well for the ladies. I don't think, like, especially when your demo is like selling racism to races. What self-respecting but what white lady is gonna, it's like, I agree with everything you say about the blacks, but also I love you. That doesn't make sense. Right? But maybe, I'm tripping. There's a Ginni Thomas out there for everyone.
Yes, it is.
Okay. If you go on onlycoons.com, you too can find love. Okay. There's a needle in a haystack out there for you. I also think if this movie doesn't get an Oscar, all the Oscar nominations it deserves, it will be because it came out so early in 2025 and people have short-term memories. But don't tell Bossy that, okay? It's going to be a conspiracy to destroy the black man. So y'all take that up with her. Shoe Booty says the discourse on room temperature water and ice mirrored a thing that happened to me just this week. I went out for a ladies' brunch to celebrate my friend getting married. It was a bougie place that was BYOB. They only had some of the wines from a local winery. As I sat down and they poured water for me with no ice, I'd ask for some ice if the champagne bucket next to the table so I could chill the rosé I brought. And they said, we don't have ice right now. The ice machine broke. I couldn't even hold back the comment that came out. Y'all might want to stop at Wawa or something because no one wants warm water, let alone warm bubbly.
Right.
Yeah, at least the ice machine was broke though.
Right, which is more valid. These people, the ice machine working, they just don't, bring it out. Cause and the thing is, I know there's some purists that are like, I like my, my water to be, as warm as air. Great, but the average person does not want that warm ass shit.
Yeah, I just don't like when they try to gaslight me when I'm like, no, I would like some ice, and they look at me like, wow, what a crazy request. I'm like, nigga, it is 90 degrees.
Right.
If you don't bring the ice and stop acting like I'm tripping. Shanna says, hey, Rod and Karen, I'm perpetually behind, so I'm listening to your Sinners episode. I have a couple things I want to bring up. One, I don't know if you've seen that Sterling K. Brown, Mandy Moore, Chris Sullivan from This Is Us have a new podcast rewatching the show. I listen every week, and it's been really interesting to listen to their insight. Their feedback section is also really touching. I'm not rewatching the show, but I sometimes revisit certain scenes they discuss. Yeah, that's cool. I still never finished that show. I need to go back one day and remember where I stopped, because I can't remember where I stopped. But I did enjoy recapping it with Bossy. 2, regarding the depiction of Black Asian solidarity and Sinners, I have listened to the whole feedback show. I haven't listened to the whole feedback show, so skip if I'm redundant. But I just want to say that Ryan Coogler has specifically said he did not intend for that scene to be interpreted as some sort of commentary on Black/non-Black POC, and that he was disappointed people had that interpretation. Also, the actress asked him to put the flashback to her daughter to make that clear, and people still took the most negative stance on this. I have a lot of Sinners feels and thoughts, but I will not inundate you with them because I have my own podcast. Love you both, and Allegra and I got our posters. Thank you, Shauna. I'm glad you got them. And here's what I'll say, man. I think a lot of real life stuff is impacting people's interpretation of art. I think that's just part of life. It's out of the creator's control at some point. I know a lot of people will say this sentiment, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but they'll say something to the effect of like, once you come out with the art, like it's now like it's whatever people think it is what the right answer is. I don't agree with that. I think there can be a discussion about unintended consequences of art and all that stuff, but I don't think every interpretation of art is as valid as what picking up the pieces that a creator laid down. Now, maybe the creator laid them down sloppily, maybe it didn't work right. We can have that discussion, but intent does matter when it comes to art. And so no, just having your own opinion or your own opinions that are informed by something else and you're working backwards, I don't think is valid. And I think a lot of people, especially right now, especially in the wake of like Kendrick Lamar, in the wake of Trump, they have been dealing with trying to find a way to cordon off Black art into this space where it is at once consumed only by Black people, understood only by Black people, and affecting only Black people. And that is an impossibility. That life has never existed that way. But online, you can kind of get into these hyper like cordoned off areas of arguing with people. And a lot of content is about that. It's like Black people arguing with Asian people arguing with Latino people. I saw I don't know how many people this was. I just saw one video of one Latino guy going, this ripped off Dusk Till Dawn or something like that. And where was the Latino representation? And that person may have been the only person that made that point. They may have been the first person that made that point. I don't know. The point is they were getting an outsized portion of the conversation thrown their way. And that is something we can't separate. Like the online amount of attention people are being awarded for some of these takes and some of these discussions is making it seem like these discussions are bigger than they are. I would gather that the vast majority of people that saw that movie did not see Grace in a light of this is a commentary of Asian people trying to join whiteness. But if that's what they took from it, and Ryan Coogler was like, I did not intend that, and that was not a commentary. And this is, he has been so forthright in his interviews. He has been not afraid of any questions. I don't think he's the type to put the art in there and then lie to the audience and lie to the interviewer and be like, I got one over. So people just, and so this is the last thing I'll say, and then Karen, you got it. People are really in a bad way with not wanting to accept new information that goes against what they have decided.
Mm-hmm. That's a
And
fact.
I am so scared for us as a world because of that. Because conspiracy and um obtuseness and being very like rigid is a real big gateway for misinformation, and so many people are being used to spread misinformation. So many people are looking for misinformation because it aligns with their biases, and art is up for interpretation. I get that, but when the guy is telling you that's not what I made, that's not what I intended, that's not what the commentary is, and you're like, fuck that, I've been arguing with Asian people online, or I've been arguing with what, there's something that is scary about that, because you would think if you truly appreciated and loved and respected Black art and the people that made it, you go, okay, so that's what you meant. Thank you. I had thought it might have been something else, but I see what you're saying. That should be easy to do. And people won't do it. They're like, no, my interpretation is the only real truth. And if you don't share this truth, then you're somehow not in on it, even if you made it. That's scary.
And also, for me, it's one of those things where, like you say, when you ask the artist and the artist is truthful and the artist gives you their answer, there's no law that says you got to agree with them. There's no law that says that um uh what they said made you feel a certain way and you either accept it or you don't. Like, I get that part, but my thing is, if the artist says it, you have to believe them. You can still feel however you want to feel, but my problem is that when you dismiss what the artist said, like the artist didn't say it, like you created it and it came from you and it didn't. And it's almost like my opinions and how I feel and my facts are greater than the art itself. The art that I did not create, I didn't spend any time or effort or anything in it. I'm just a consumer of this. And also I realize, and maybe this is just me on the outside looking in, most people that are not creatives have these very strong feelings like that because they're not creative, so they really don't understand what really goes on with it.
I don't think it's because they're not creatives. I think a lot of creatives do it too, because what they are creating is their own content. Yeah. We're all creating content now.
I hear what you're saying. From that perspective, yes.
Yeah. And when you're doing a podcast, you're creating content. When you're doing TikTok, you're creating content. And so I don't think they're not creatives. I think many of them are. Some of them being creatives that are even trying to get into the same lane as these guys, right? And they're like, no, let me tell you what it really means, because this is, maybe that's how you would have did it, but that they're telling you like, that's not what I did.
And I understand that. I think when I mean creatives, they're not like in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Like in the industry itself. I do understand what you're saying. Creative creates something. People create something off the creative for their own content.
No, I'm saying like Bossy's a poet. She was of the idea that, the Asian character, it meant something about whiteness. And so, no, that she is a creative. She's written, books, she's TV shows. She, you know what I'm saying? So
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I guess I'm thinking for like the average person online, but yes, those feelings can impact a lot of people across the board, and a lot of people, which I get it, they feel like if I didn't create it, and you do have the right to feel however you want to feel about something that the artist created, but I do agree with you. If the artist says that's not my intent, I want to take that as a fact. I don't want to dismiss the artist's opinion.
I just think once people kind of get into which is in a bad way, that's all. Like, people are in a bad way now, because we are not at a place where we're trustful of the intent of anyone. And we're not at a place, and we're at a place where when it's inconvenient, we will supersede reality with what we decided it is.
Right.
And so a lot of that is affected by the discussions that we see take place online. Meaning, if I watch 27 white people dance and do TikTok dances to that part of Kendrick where it says 40 acres and a mule, they and knowing they don't know what the fuck he's talking about, that's a very inappropriate thing for them to be dancing to. If I watch that on, because my TikTok algorithm has served me that 27 times, I'm going to walk out of that thinking this is what white people are doing. They don't understand Kendrick. They don't understand his art. We must protect the art. We must get our opinions out there and let them know this is wrong and we need to shut that down. That is a real experience someone is having, and they're creating TikToks and going back and forth off of that, right?
Yes.
So me, another person on TikTok who doesn't get into that cycle, who never sees that stuff, I have a completely different reality than that person.
Yes.
They are walking around like we must stop the consuming and the misunderstanding of black art, where I'm like, I don't really see how much of that is happening, but also I don't care.
Agreed.
How much of that is happening, because I've made a conscientious decision to try to decolonize my mind from worrying about whiteness and their interpretation and their what, you know, like when we did our centers thing, it wasn't to just explain it to white people. You know, like we just had a conversation with our friends and you know, and fellow podcasters. I love that kind of shit. You know, I don't know what we do, but anyway, my point being, like, I think the Asian model minority and slash racism between Asian and black people, I think that affected how people looked at that character, regardless of what Ryan Coogler intended.
Agreed.
Because they can't separate it from life. They're not going to walk into the art with a vacuum.
Right.
They're walking with it intending, you know, with their own lives. And some places that helps the art, and in some places it may hurt the art. And so to hear, you know, Shanna say Ryan Coogler addressed this and said, this is not what I meant, which is what I was feeling when I was on the show. I feel bad for Ryan Coogler.
I do too.
I know people will think they're protecting him, but I actually feel bad for him, because I'm like, fuck, man, like life fucked up your art. Your art was fine. You made a statement. It was what you intended. Not no one, but enough people aren't. Some people are gonna walk out like, I don't give a fuck what you say. It was this. She went to join whiteness or whatever, you know. Miss Barnes says, hello, I'm on the oh wait, did we do this? Yeah, no. I'm on the third rewatch of Sinners and have no hesitation to pay good money to see it a fourth time. Every time that I see it, there's something new that I notice as the movie has Easter eggs like a Marvel movie. When I went to the theater on Sunday, it was only like 5 or 6 folks there, mainly because it was Mother's Day and I went early at 11 a.m. Love an early morning showing. But I did have the older black couple who felt the need to provide commentary on everything. I love us, but I can't stand us at times. If it was their first time watching the movie, I'll allow it. Anywho, I will give it a couple of weeks and then see it again in the theater. Ryan Coogler will get my hard-earned monies. Neb says, I caved and bought a ticket to see Buddy Guy. My dad convinced me. It's more expensive than most tiny shows I like, but much cheaper than Beyonce or Kendrick, so I figured why not. He's been actively touring in small theaters for decades. A lot of old white men like my dad love him because all the classic rock musicians cite Buddy Guy as a major influence and collaborator, and he tours extremely impressively consistently. I'm a big music fan, and though I don't know blues well yet, I find it extremely impressive that he's kept it up so well for so long. Few artists have done the same. Blues was a huge influence on metal too, which I'm a big fan of, so I'm hyped to see what started it all, as my dad says. By the way, I was finally able to convince my dad to see Sinners, and it made him cry too. Shout out to you, Nebs, and your dad. And yeah, I love when movies have this effect where like it's making people do stuff like delve into the blues, you know. That's how you know you're having cultural impact. Let's see, YouTube. Y'all had something to say. 3 comments. Every show is great, says 76 in the fur. Every show is great, but woo, the close of this show talking about feminism and the Democratic Party. Yes. All of it, yes. Ramsey PH Dunn says, playing catch up with the episodes. I enjoy listening to feedback show. 5 stars at Mark 151 to 157. Karen B. Knowing. Not sure what we were saying at that time. Oh, it must have been the feminism thing, right?
Probably was.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. Thank you. C Mola O2 says yes to everything said about Mr. Morale. I had to do my own self-reflection when I first heard it. Hit me in a way that's too long to type here, but I'm glad to hear others heard what I heard and appreciated it. Yeah, man. I love that album. It's just such a great album. And I just, people don't get it, they don't get it. That's fine. But, I still remember getting to the end of that album, and it literally made me cry the first time I heard it, because I was like, oh my God. And I maybe in my own ways in life, I have been feeling certain similar issues or certain similar feelings. And that's the power of art, the way that he was able to articulate that, but also just not really about me, but about him as an artist. It felt good to watch someone let go of their persecution and guilt complex and a responsibility that they felt for the culture that no one person can take on for everybody.
No.
And the guilt and the survivor's guilt that he felt from where he came from, the industry he's in, the people that didn't make it. I mean, that brother has been through a lot. He's lost a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put yourself up there on that cross and choose to take on the sins of the world, metaphorically, that's a lot to try to take on for everybody. And to be like, I'm the one who's going to guide us out of this, is a lot. And it felt like he stopped trying to be that, but he was okay with it. Like, he wasn't quitting, like, I give up on y'all are terrible people. It was more like I can let this go, because it was never meant for me to be there. And I'm sorry if you're a person that did feel like my savior complex and everything was like prophecy, and I was the guy that's going to change everything for everybody. I'm sorry if that's how you feel. I have to choose me and my family and my health and what makes me mentally stable. I need to do those things, not just sit around trying to scold everybody else into doing what I think they should do. And I thought that was really fucking dope. But yeah, I love that. What a great album. The poll, do you have something to say? Yes or no?
I do. I always got something to say.
54% of people have something to say. 46% of people did not have something to say. So I guess we got to the bottom of that one for once and for all. We love to see it. Let's play a beat, and then we'll come right back with some more of these feedbacks. That was Beyond by Infrared Crypto. Buying DoorDash on Credit, episode 3095 was the title of this one. My mom was on here for Mother's Day, our annual tradition. We enjoyed it as always. Rona Raphael says, always great to hear Rod's mama. Also giving a shout out to all the moms who listen and are part of the Blackout Tips Nation. Y'all the best mamas out there. As for DoorDash on Credit, I got to remember to download the app first. They might get me if I see an Ethiopian, Senegalese, Port Harcourt, or Ghanaian fried fish or snail, not the fancy escargot. If you know, you know, amongst others there. But this OG too used to paying on delivery, so I'm the wrong target. Shit, I could sell credit to DoorDash. Let me consult my inner baby Billy. Sean says, have you ever tried Chinese sea snails? There are a couple different versions, but I think this is the most common, is delish. Someone got to tell those French that the le beurre n'est pas un sauce on la main. Butter is not seasoning. Now I have to search out a restaurant that sells Ghanaian fried snail while waiting for Japan to release centers. Apia says, I noticed that keeping a house for long is seen as something negative in the U.S. Can someone explain? Yeah, I can explain. It's actually not seen as negative in the U.S. It's actually like super dope if people can own a house
and hold on.
Like if they can have a house long enough to own it, that's actually like a goal of a lot of people.
It's a gold star
to own some property in America. Is like a big deal, and it's very hard to do.
Yes, it is.
So I don't know where you're getting that information from. Maybe it's just like some really super rich fancy people or something, but just normal people, holding on a house for as long as you can is like that's a badge of honor if you can pull that bitch off. These mortgages be like 40, 50 years sometimes.
Yep. And then on top of that, once you quote unquote own it, what causes people to lose their homes is the property taxes that you have to pay. Because if you don't pay it, you actually still lose the home.
The German dream is to buy a house, pay it off, and live in it rent free as long as you live. Yeah, that's the American dream too. That's literally the American dream. I'm living this dream. We bought so this was always a humble brag. Got it. We bought a house in 2009, paid it off, and do not intend to sell it ever, especially because the house is on a street almost tripled in price at that time. Yep. Yeah, this is the same in America. We're doing renovations and changes to it. The location is ideal. It's not very big, but okay, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. We pay no mortgage, and property taxes are very low compared to America, like $2,000 a year. Normal for German property taxes are similarly low everywhere. To clear it up, if we ever consider to buy another house, it would be on the same street. We love the location. All right, well, that feels random. I don't know what we said to spark that, but congratulations on having a nice house. Sean says, in terms of those vulture capitalists, they should be charged with theft for raiding pension funds. If the law was appropriately applied and some high-profile vulture capitalist, like maybe Romney, was prosecuted for the criminal theft of millions of dollars and sent to Gen Pop for their slimy criminal behavior, then you may see an end to this violent criminal activity that accounts for the second largest percentage of theft in the U.S. behind wage theft. The problem is that the right like to defund law enforcement and the IRS just enough so they won't go after the white-collar criminals. Also, I was wondering, when was the last time a Republican president been put in the White House and the U.S. hasn't ended up in a recession? Makes you wonder if the R next to their name stands for recession, repression, or simply reprehensible pieces of shit. But I'm agnostic on the issue. Apologies before my other comments. I should have mentioned that it was lovely hearing your mother, and I hope she had the best Mother's Day ever. Thank you. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. You know, she listens to the show. Abia says, the poll, I haven't used Klarna or DoorDash ever separately. John Baby John says, a few years back, I held an appointment as a vice president at a major public university in Texas. At the time, Tony Busby was a member of the board of regents for that university. One day, I bumped into a colleague at the university who was friends with Tony and had recently attended a costume party Tony hosted at his mansion in Houston. Tony Busby is the lawyer that was suing Jay-Z. He's the lawyer that went after Deshaun Watson successfully. He's a lawyer, I think, that's representing the accuser of Shannon Sharp. So that's Tony Busby. I should note the theme of the party was 80s hip hop, and my colleague was a well-meaning white dude in his late 50s. Anyway, in addition to telling me about the party, my colleague was eager to show pictures of what he and his wife wore to the party. After seeing photos, I'll just say it was a classic effing with black people experience for me. But here's the kicker. The guy Tony paid to perform at the party was the dog father himself, Calvin Broadus Jr. That's Snoop Dogg. So when I heard Snoop was performing for Trump, I was not surprised. EVE says, it's always nice when Mom Morrow's on the show. I'm not sure if there's a punishment suitable enough for Diddy. That man deserves to be locked up for 1,000 lifetimes. I think he's probably responsible for a lot more than he's on trial for.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. Comments on YouTube. Treated Well says, I didn't know what these folks are talking about. That intro is fire. Reminds me of the intro to the Spider-Verse. And happy Mother's Day, Mama Morrow. Thank you. Treated well. 5 stars for everyone. Mama Morrow in the building, says Ramsey PH Dunn. Leonard Brother says happy belated Mother's Day to Mama Prime and all the moms in the Blackout to his family. Jason Jasper says, man, if Diddy survives this, Russell Simmons will be the only human being on the planet he could kick it with. I mean, after OJ died, I'll Be Sure needs to change the name of that book to I'll Be Back. I'm ready for the light skin revenge. He said, y'all done called me the educated brother from the bank too many times. That's the other guy. He's about to take down Sean, Nino Combs, and I have my popcorn ready.
He was like, y'all was talking shit, told me to sit my $5 ass down before I make change. But this change is about to be dollar bills now.
I am waiting for someone to take AI and swap the faces in that courtroom scene with Diddy as Nino Brown and I'll Be Sure as Christopher Williams.
Miss Hawkins.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that. Jason also says, and your mom saying mustard and Gordo sounded like salad dressing took me out. Happy belated Mother's Day. Yeah, that was very funny.
Thank you.
The poll was, have you ever used Klarna for DoorDash? 91% have not, but 8% have.
I didn't even know it was an option.
Well, I said it on the show. That's the thing. And I use DoorDash, so I have seen it as an option. I've seen it as an option on my credit card statement, everything.
Oh, that's right.
Like, do you want to Klarna this YMCA membership? I'm like, no, I just want to pay it. I'd rather not break it into 5 interest laden payments. I'd just rather pay the fee now.
Oh, I know what that is. More I think about it. Yes. Every time I go buy, even on Amazon, anytime you go buy something now, it'll ask you, hey, do you want to break this down? And I'm like, I want to pay full price. No, I don't want to break, because in my mind, I was like, no, I don't want to break it down plus interest. Just pay it all in full. What is this?
Yeah, even for our Blackout Tips PayPal subscription, it's like, do you want to allow people to Klarna this? And I don't think I said yes. I can't remember. I feel like I didn't click yes because I didn't understand what they meant. But yeah, even for that, I could technically be like, you can Klarna this or whatever. So all right, let's get to the final episode of the week, 3096. Maybe Tory Lanez fell on 14 pieces of glass, with 5 comments, guys, on the old website there. Abia says, Donald Trump absolutely behaves like a dictator would, and I predict a documentary in the future called American Dictator. He is doing so much messed up stuff that no one is surprised or outraged anymore. You can't keep up with the grift. And he did already so much of it. When I think about how much more compliance and ethics rules I am bound to as an employee of a pharmaceutical company, not exactly the good guys in the eyes of many, I get it. There was a lot of corruption in the past than the American president. It's insane. We are, for example, not allowed to have medical conventions in hotels that are too fancy or too leisure oriented, so that the physicians don't visit the event for the wrong reasons, and he can just accept planes as gifts. How? Yep. Right in front of our face, man. And just, it feels like not enough is being done about it. Not enough outrage is happening.
But everybody else is supposed to be ethically right, like supposed to follow the rules and regulations and shit. And they're going, but why should we do it? For some people, this is why they start doing shit. They was like, the fuck am I following the rules for? And this nigga's at the top and doing whatever he wants to, but you're going to be held accountable. He's not.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I just think that a lot of it is also like right now, Jake Tapper is promoting a book about how Democrats should have stopped President Joe Biden from running for president again. It's 2025.
Y'all not taking it seriously.
I don't know what to tell y'all. Even if 100% of everything you wrote is true, even though it's anonymous sources, all that, let's say it's true. Let's say he was a bumbling, stumbling fucking idiot. Let's say he was a drooling mess. What can that do for us now? What can it do for any of us at this point? What can it do for us now? It's just going to give another round of fuck Joe Biden, which, okay. Fuck the Democrats. Okay. How we getting out of this then, y'all? Because this motherfucker's accepting $400 million planes and flying around in Air Force, whatever they're going to call this shit, and then planning on keeping it after this presidency is over. And y'all are talking about whether or not this man, Biden, was having mental delay a year ago. It's over. Yeah. Whether he was or wasn't, he stepped down.
He did.
It's over. We can quibble over when he should have stepped down, but bitch, that's been done. What will it matter if everyone says you're right today? What will it matter? What will it matter? Right, but that's America. We argue about that bullshit while Trump is just.
I wonder what he's gonna do today. I wonder what he's gonna do tomorrow. This guy just pissing. He's pissing all over us. He's pissing on you. What does it taste like? Chief, what does it taste like? Because you know what? It tastes like piss to me.
But yeah, go ahead. Good luck selling the book. Shoe Booty says, you might say this sports talk isn't for everyone, but it's not like you go on and on. You have ballsy sports, which isn't for me, but I learned sports things from this. Sometimes I'll be listening, catch on to some sports news, mention it out loud to my husband. He says, how did you know that? Like when I said, hold up, Deion Sanders is his son's agent. That doesn't sound good for him. Thanks to the Morrows for teaching me these things. You're welcome. Yeah. Nah, I mean, sometimes we can get into weeds of sports stuff
Right.
and nerd stuff, whatever. And I know we normally say those things for our behind the paywall stuff, but we know what we're talking about. And in my head, I'm always like, I hope this is interesting. I hope people aren't just skipping all over the fucking show. But you know what? Honestly, if they do, that's their loss. We be knowing what we're talking about.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things to where we talk about a lot of different variety of stuff too. And the thing is, these things impact the zeitgeist, and sometimes we will talk about it on like the regular show because there are people who are not behind the paywall that actually kind of want to hear what we got to say about certain topics that we a lot of times put behind the paywall, and so that kind of gives you a taste of what you're going to get if you start paying, because a lot of times we'll go into more details, particularly with Justin and deep dive and tell how we feel about certain things. Like a lot of times things happen and we don't cover them. There's a percentage of people that could give a fuck, but there are people that really want to hear about what we got to say. So I don't mind those things. Like we said, we don't make it the bulk of the show, but we do touch on those topics because I feel like there's a large percentage of people that want to hear it. And B, there are a percentage of people that don't know what the fuck we're talking about. But if somebody else mentioned it to them, or because some things are so big, people will hear about it, even if they don't really understand what it is. And to an extent, we can educate them so that they kind of can have an idea about what's happening and what's going on.
Yep. One thing about you're going to keep your money on your mind and your mind on your money. Sean says Mar was never a liberal. He's always been a libertarian with uninformed views and not the left on social issues, right on economic issues that libertarians usually say they are. He's the ignore institutional bias and let the corporations run everything as they see fit with no regulations, including discrimination protections type of libertarian, basically anti-government rather than actually libertarian. After 9/11, he started to lean hard into Islamophobia, which has opened the door to his current open hostility and bigotry towards trans people. His other bigotries sometimes come out, but he does try to hide them more than his open bigotry. He was interesting to watch during the politically incorrect years. Not great, just interesting. But every year since 2002, he's proven that Comedy Central made the smart move in cutting his punk ass. The ironic thing is, like, politically incorrect ended, I believe, because he said that the terrorists for 9/11 had to have courage to do what they did, and people got so mad at him for saying that. I don't want to quibble over Bill Maher, so if that's your interpretation of him, that's fine with me. I never felt he was necessarily a liberal. But I definitely knew he was liberal on some issues, and not just like he was liberal, like he's a PETA motherfucker. I forget everything. Like there were things that he was, and I think, you know what? No, actually it matters. It matters for the fucking truth. And the show is about the truth here. So there were things that he was considered a lefty on. And Republicans used to hate this man. Republicans used to not want to go on his show. And it matters. We have to be honest. And
they didn't.
We can say like he was never liberal, but liberal changed his definition over our lifespans.
It did.
So he was liberal for the time. And now people call Obama a centrist. So that, like, the things Obama passed would have been considered very liberal things 10 years before Obama did them. And now 10 years afterwards, like, this motherfucker, he might as well be a conservative. So Bill Maher has existed. And I think when did this show start for politically correct? It had to be the 90s or something.
Yeah, it had to be the 90s.
So
late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, so like dude 93 to 97 Comedy Central politically correct. I would not say he was he was, his thing wasn't I'm a card carrying liberal progressive. He's very much a libertarian, but the point is he had some views that were considered to be socially progressive and all this stuff. He has changed, and we must make note of that change. It needs to be studied, because what my point that I'm making on the show, and I know Sean isn't necessarily trying to refute this point, but it's important to and germane to the point I've been making. It is a slippery slope gateway, this right-wing bullshit. Bill Maher did not start like he is right now. It got worse, and I watched it get worse. I watched as people stop doing it, and it wasn't just the Islamophobia. It was a lot of shit. It's just now he's just he's basically a right-wing person at this point. I'm sure he would say he's not, but come on, we see you when you're palling around with Trump, and Republicans now can't wait to go on your show and glad hand you. This is 100% a change, So yeah, I don't think any of us believed he was like some super hippie. We just knew he smoked weed and shit, but yeah, he's changed, and I think it's important to note that change. I don't think it hurts it doesn't make me feel any less it doesn't lessen my intensity of dislike for that man just because he was, to also point out that yeah, he wasn't always this bad. This is the worst he's ever been, and 5 years from now it'll probably be worse than this. So anyway, Romeo Rome says, do I believe Tory Lanez was stabbed? Yes. Do I care Tory Lanez was stabbed? Hell no. Romeo Rome, did you see him get stabbed? How you know he was stabbed? So you just believe anything. Have y'all asked the person that's accused of stabbing him if they did it? They might say no, they didn't do it. Maybe a security guard overheard him getting stabbed and heard another person say he stabbed him and then realized that no one actually got stabbed. He just was hearing it. He didn't see it. So how can we know any of that is true? I disagree, Romeo. Eve says, I don't believe Tory Lanez was stabbed because too many conflicted stories. Plus, I think he's using it as an excuse to reduce his sentence. But by the off chance he did, I hope it hurt. Exactly, Eve. Let's see. YouTube, we got 6 comments. Omar says, what? Tory slipped and fell, landed on 14 shivs? Willie says, fell 14 pieces of glass. Talk about bad luck. I recall Bill Maher from years ago, before his politically incorrect show. He hasn't ever been funny to me. He had to have a good sponsor pushing his career over the years. Listen, Bill Maher to me is the ultimate example of what J.L. Cauvin calls clapter. Now it's ironic because J.L. Cauvin and his mom are like Maher fans, and they're like, I don't know how much they are now fans, because obviously Bill Maher's really made some changes over these last few years. But to the point where you go see him live and stuff, and as staunch as JL is about, he's a stickler for like comedy and stand up, and like you got to do it the right way. And there's so many popular comedians that I think are pretty good, or at least put out funny stand up, that JL will be like, nah, they kind of like. They kind of did this move or they did that move. He's like studying the game basically to say like, hey, this motherfucker right here they're doing a little bit of tricks. They're pandering to the audience a little bit or whatever. And so he has this thing called clapter, where it's not really like applause, and at the same time it's not really laughter. It's clapter, meaning I'm clapping because I agree with the point of your joke, not because I found it funny.
Right.
So, Bill Maher, he has a lot of atheist jokes. He has a lot of atheist fans. He comes and says some atheist shit, and people clap because I'm an atheist and I agree. Religion is crazy. Not because what you said was like the funniest observation about religion. And that's his delivery style, and he's been doing that for years, and it isn't funny to me. He was one of the first comedians that I'd be like, even if I agree with the premise and the setup and the joke, I can sit up there and be like, I didn't find that funny.
Right. And he's one of the comedians over the years. I'm like, I would never see you live. Like in my mind, I was like, it would be boring as shit to me to see you live if this is what I'm going to receive.
Yeah. Like I watched the specials and stuff before, it's clapter. And look, there's a lot of money and shit to be made. I mean, the motherfucker is rich. The guy, he been around forever doing clapter. Like I see the appeal. Okay.
Yes.
Like I don't necessarily need to have motherfuckers doubled up crying if I'm motherfucking walking away rich, about to go smoke me some weed and have sex with a black prostitute every night. Like if that's what his dream is, that's his dream. But yeah, it is wild. Sadly, David Hogg is gone full white man, says that's Carter Thomas, because the Republicans are still hypocritical, judgmental assholes, but also young people. I once was one, have always had to worry about money and politics as well as enjoying life. He's talking about He's talking from a privileged perspective, white male, possibly richer, well off. We are and will continue to fight for our rights, and we will live our lives as we see fit, because Republicans will continue to try to rule over everyone and take away said rights. The fight only stops when we give up. And I hate identity politics, in quotes, because your politics always align with your identity, or you're voting against your best interest. It just happens that most black people's politics encompass rights for more than just us. Yep. Snack Pack says, I noticed in your feedback shows that the most frustrating comments you get are often on YouTube. So here's a positive one for you. Thank you, Snack Pack.
Mm-hmm.
Love Butterfly says, love your intro. Yeah, Blue Butterfly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason says, yeah, that gender wars was awful. The moment I saw M'Baku in the front of the class, I knew this was quite fake. That joint should have had opening credits.
Right?
I disagree slightly with Rod about the David Hogg thing. I agree 100% that after all that tough talk, he's basically pushing the same centrist agenda. He literally said the exact same thing Andrew Schultz said. Honestly, even AOC and Bernie are being centrist when they're speaking on tour. Where I disagree is I am highly offended that what he said about Jim Clyburn. I am certainly okay with primaries and suggesting that new blood could be good, but you don't tell that man to get over himself. I think they get confused that since they talk to their parents and grandparents crazy, they can do that to ours. I'll put it this way. The same flowery, inoffensive, understanding tone and language that he and Bernie and all of them use when discussing the poor white Trump supporter, you better at minimum find that flowery, inoffensive, understanding tone and language for that 80-year-old black man who didn't vote for Donald Trump. I promise if he said that to Mr. Clyburn and I was present, me and young Dave would have had our own caucus. Haha. Hey, Jason, I agree with you on that. That's a good point. Listen, the reason I say I don't get offended by that type of shit is mostly about you have a public elected office. No one is entitled to be nice to you. That's it. Like, no matter what I think of Jim Clyburn, positive or negative, what I do know about holding public office in America is that motherfuckers are gonna take shots at you. They're gonna be disrespectful. They gonna infight. They gonna outfight. I don't like any of it necessarily. I don't think it's germane to much, but I can tolerate that within the auspices of like, that's politics in America. So like, if he says he needs to get over himself, I'm not highly offended, mostly because I don't want to give David Hogg that power over me that he can say something and then I go, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. Because someone's going to tell him to suck a dick or shut the fuck up one day. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to be like, what? Oh, like, it is what it is. But I totally understand and empathize with you because it's really more of a mental shield I put up for myself, less so than this isn't offensive. It's more like this whole thing of politics in America can easily get offensive, and I just don't want to be hair triggered every single time that somebody pops off. So to me, I'm like, okay, whatever. What is the substance of what you have to say, David Hogg? Fuck. Yes, you told Jim Clyburn to shut the fuck up or whatever, and everyone clapped for you because that's what white people really want, is these black people in the South to go away and have no voting power. But okay, now what is your plan? My plan is to get Trump supporters to come back to Democrats that are young white men. Okay, fuck you and fuck your plan. How about that? You know? And also because I will talk shit about some of these politicians. I can't be like, well, not the ones I like. Nah, I like Jim Clyburn and I wouldn't talk shit about him necessarily. I think you have to respect his work. And if you want to go beat him, you should primary him and go beat him.
And win. And my biggest thing is
and if you can't do that, then you're just bitching.
Right.
And if you're just bitching, then I don't trust you can defeat Republicans. That's the part that no one ever gets to. Mm-mm. You know, I saw God, I can't remember his last name, Sam something, activist, and he was tweeting about like how old Democrats just need to like retire and step down. And I say this with well, it's gonna sound disrespectful, so it just is, but hey man, if you have to politely ask / beg or impolitely imply to incumbent Democrats who won their seats because they were elected by the people in their constituency, they weren't appointed, They didn't steal the election. They put their feet on the ground. They made inroads in the community. And then they were dutifully, legally, lawfully elected. They didn't gerrymander it. They got elected by the people in their fucking district. Okay? If you are saying, hey, you're old, please quit. I don't believe you are the people that can actually stop Republicans.
Right.
Because you're telling me these Democrats too soft. And what is your plan? Please, sir, please, can you go home and stop trying to help the people in your district and just let me do it? Can you let us do it? We're going to just be progressive. We just going to say it. Okay, so when you do, let's say that happens. They just give you the seat. You don't got to fight for it or nothing. You don't got to earn a single vote. You think in your mind, they just step down and you step up. Okay, so what you going to do to stop Trump? Please, sir, can you please, Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, don't do that. Can you please quit so that No, you have to be a fighter. And the first fight is getting the fucking seat. The first fight is the primary. This is not fighting, it's whining online to people that ain't even in them districts. So who gives a fuck if you got 1 million retweets and views? If none of them come from a certain portion of South Carolina, then Jim Clyburn is just going right back to his job. So who cares what David Hogg has to say on Bill Maher's show? Bill Maher's people they not voting in this fucking primary. Take your ass down there and convince them black people that you're not just anti-black and trying to get rid of the black Southern vote. Convince them that you got some candidates and some people that have better ideas and better plans that will help them out more. And you'll find something interesting about black people in the South. It's something you'll find about most black people everywhere. It's something you'll find about most voters everywhere. They will vote for you if you can convince them you have good policies. Yeah, it's really that simple. It's really that simple. We're no different than anybody fucking else. But if you just want to scold us or look down on us or try to come up with some way to usurp our authority down, then you're going to end up in the position you're in now, which is a bunch of people going, fuck you then.
This is my thing. You give us no other choice, because this is my thing. And it's very, very frustrating. And I will forever feel like this. I don't give a fuck about your complaining. I don't even care about you threatening about primary. My thing, particularly when, and this is something that really, and I was young too, but I've never done this. And I've said it last week. I'm tired of young people acting like once you hit a certain age, you're supposed to go somewhere and fucking die. And everybody's supposed to give everything to you. It doesn't work like that. Do not come around here telling these people, like Roger said, who did the goddamn work, who have to meet with these people, have town hall meetings, that they're in these communities. Bitch, you don't live here a lot of times. You don't stay here. You have no connections to these areas, and yet you're going to come and tell these people how they should vote and tell these people what's important to them. And then you're going to tell somebody who's had the seats for decades to just give it up. Bitch, you take it. And I will forever say that. If you want it, take it. If you can't, and a lot of times they whine because they know they can't take it. Well, then shut the fuck up. If you can't bring your ass down here and talk to the people and convince the people to vote for you, what are we doing? You're wasting time.
And, like I said, I try not to get too charged up about it, but at this point, I do get a little bit charged up because how do you think Jim Clyburn got the seat? How do you think he got the seat, y'all? Like, what do you think he had to face to become a congressperson in South fucking Carolina?
South Carolina, dog.
Like, this man came up in 1969 during a hospital strike in Charleston. Like, this man's a fighter. And this whole, like, just quit your old shit sounds cool to you as a young person. But what this first test is are you going to quit? because I've seen a lot of young people come and go in this, especially in this last 10, 15 years in the era of online social media activism. A lot of y'all have come and gone.
Yes.
A lot of y'all, it was too hard and y'all just gave up. And y'all back doing young people shit. You're touring, you're having kids, your families, you're in college, you're doing whatever the fuck else. You got jobs, you fucking did what, and these old folks is still with the cause.
Right.
And you can't just corrupt that by throwing bullshit out there. Like, well, hey man, hey, they just corrupt. Okay, well then go beat them. Show me the corruption. And when y'all don't do it, when all y'all do is bitch and complain, and you don't actually go put someone in the race to win, or when you do put someone in the race and y'all lose,
right,
y'all start sounding like Trump and Bernie with the rigged election bullshit instead of saying we lost fair and square. We thought we had an inroads here. We actually have a lot more work to do, and we need to stay committed to this area of the country and to these voters, and understand this is a multi-year uphill climb till we get a percentage of the population that is high enough for us to win one of these seats. That's the commitment that we're asking for. And instead, people are taking it and getting offended like black people don't give a fuck about these policies.
Right.
No, you just got to do the work. And it's this, and the
work.
reason, and I've said this on the show before, and I'm so glad Jason brought it up in his comment. If we were white, you wouldn't be talking like this.
Right.
White people can be straight up racist. They can vote for a racist. They can say horrible, bigoted things, and you will tell me why it is important to understand them, not judge them, to have empathy for them, and to invite them to the conversation. Black people, we just get scolded. And if I didn't like the shit when Obama did it, I definitely don't like it when fucking David Hogg does it. And just because you progressive doesn't give you any motherfucking right more than those people. Talk to me like you want my vote.
Right.
And then we can have a discussion. But just so like I'm going to just yell at y'all and act like y'all stupid. Well then, okay, then we're at an impasse. Because I am willing to be just as obstinate about this shit as y'all are.
Mm-hmm.
So now what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do? You're gonna keep complaining, and I'm gonna keep not voting for you. And my thing, like I said, particularly being down here from the South, we do not have the luxury that the rest of you niggas have in other parts of the country. We just don't. So in my opinion, it's very frustrating. It's very insulting to the black people down here when a lot of white people love to come down here and tell us what to do. Bernie Sanders is a prime example of this. Love to come down here, tell us what to do, tell us how to vote, and we were like, bitch, we don't know you. Who are you? Who? And then you want to act like we're the problem, and that consistently happens to white people. They want to just come down here and just act like these bumbling, fumbling black folks, we can just easily come down here and manipulate them and tell them what to do, and they're just going to vote for us. And when we don't, we're the problem versus you doing the motherfucking work.
But thank you for that comment. And the poll was, do you think Tory Lanez was really stabbed? Yes or no? Kind of surprised by the results. 54% no, 46% yes. I thought yes would be a lot lower. I definitely don't think he got stabbed. I think he made it all up. And all right, let's get into voicemails. But first, another beat so we can get some commercials in here. Let's see. Psycho Music, Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke, 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 Gunsmoke.
Psycho
Music.
All right, we got a couple voicemails from Dre. So let's see what he had to say.
Okay.
Hold on. No sound?
Yeah, they saying they don't have any sound. They can't hear the voicemail.
What? Oh man. Okay. That's not good. Let's see. I have the all right, let me try switching to no.
Yeah, we want to be sure y'all hear it.
Okay. Let me try refreshing. Okay. Y'all were able to hear those beats and stuff I played earlier?
Yeah, I think it was just the voicemail.
Just so only the voicemail? Okay. All right. I will try playing it now. Let's see. Are y'all hearing that now? Okay. I thought it was just I can hear it. I can hear now. We hear me now. Okay. Nope, they can't. So they can't hear this voicemail.
Yeah, it's just the voicemail specifically. So it might be a setting.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Because we played it before and
yeah, last week they heard it. Let me see if I open in a different browser, maybe. Let's try that, guys. We're all working on the fly here.
Yep.
So all right, I'm gonna hit play in this browser.
All right, so this is right. Not to make every feedback voicemail segment turn into politics until.
Okay, could y'all hear that one? We can hear. Okay. So it just can't be in Chrome. Okay, whatever. All right, here we go. I'll finish playing it now. But that's very fucking weird.
You get mad because that's what I did last time. I recognize that I did that, and I apologize because this might do it again. But I was listening to you and Karen's response to that voicemail about the Democratic Party and all of that shit. And all I could think to myself was when Karen was rattling off all the different things that the Democrats try and do to protect people, I really started thinking, in truth, no matter what you want to happen in this country, there's a Democrat who supports that vision. And when I say no matter what, if the only qualifier for being in the Democratic Party is that your policies are not overtly driven by cruelty. You can be a Democrat and not believe in abortion. You can be a Democrat and believe in letting the oil companies run wild. You can be a Democrat. There are Democrats who believe everything under the sun. The only difference is they do not package it in. And by the way, we'll rid children from their families. Oh, and by the way, we'll make sure all the blacks don't get any. By the way, we'll send all the brown people back home. The only reason to be voting for the Republican Party right now is to express that cruelty to another group of people. There's no policy decision even behind you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even a part of the calculation at this point, and it can't be. There's no way that it can be because it's just not. So that's it. I feel like if I'd have waited, I could have formulated that better, but I don't care. I feel like.
Oh, sorry, he left another voicemail.
Okay, real fast. I can see how I don't want it to seem like the point I'm trying to make is that like I just want to make my point a little more concisely. My point is just, if what you want is to have a true and earnest debate about how policy should be enacted in this country and what direction the country should go in, fiscal policy, all of these different things, if that's really what you care about, the only place that conversation is actually being had is within the Democratic Party. Republicans are not having policy conversations. They are having conversations about social issues and other bullshit that they would like other people to think that that's all the Democratic Party is about, but they are not interested in governing. And if you have any interest in determining how the country is governed, then the only place that conversation happens is within the Democratic Party at this point. And how progressive you are or how conservative you are is not really a defining feature of whether or not you cannot engage with this party's politics. And that's really my point. And so for all of those people who do choose to vote Republican, I can't waste my time and space speaking to them or with them because you've already shown me you're not interested in the conversation.
Right.
You're just interested in seeing someone else hurt. And you need to go to therapy for that shit or whatever. All right. Now I'm really done. Love y'all. Peace.
Yeah, I agree totally, Dre. I think, and I don't think it's my fault. Republicans just have not left room for anything other than the cruelty being the point.
Right.
Shout out to Adam Surer. But yeah, it's literally all they have left. If it was, and what I think the fundamental issue that I think people are missing about the Democratic Party versus the Conservative Party in America is that the Democratic Party is representative of all of America. It's actually not representative of left and just progressives, and just it's not the more progressive you are, the better off that you are in the party. Because Republicans have decided to just relinquish themselves from having to govern. And to just steal elections and gerrymander districts and stuff like that, stop people from voting. Once they became an anti-democratic party, it forces everyone who believes in democracy for good or bad, meaning like whether you're pro-abortion or anti-abortion, it does not matter. Or I guess that's not the term I meant, but whatever. Pro-choice or anti-choice, whatever, it doesn't matter. Then you're gonna end up in this boat if you believe in people having a right to represent themselves in a democracy. That's it. So now we approach the party like, why can't you just ideologically be one way? It's like, because we can't. This party is made up of a bunch of fucking circles that only have a small Venn diagram overlap.
Right,
real small. We believe that those who vote should be represented. That is what this party is now. And people haven't recognized it. So they still think it's like, no, if we just change this policy or we just approach it like this, get rid of the old people. It's like, no, every single group that's over here needs each other because we're the only people that believe that this country should be run it should still be run as a country. And the government should still be a government and not just a private business where everyone is grifting. But we've let that happen on our watch, so we're gonna pay the consequences.
Yes, we are.
Lastly, we have emails, a couple of them. I'll just go ahead and read them. Let's see. The first one is from Jay Sizzle, who says, new subscriber, Jelani, aka Bonafide, aka Jay Sizzle, aka Jay Ceezy. All right. Hey, y'all. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for all your work. And that's just out the strength of the freebie episodes. My partner Emily and I love listening to your show together and cackling. The show is so well-rounded and there's a topic for anyone to relate with. All that aside, I've been abstaining from the show for damn near a week now because I didn't want to hear any spoilers of the SZA and Kendrick show. We had tickets to last night's show outside of Boston, and holy Moses, was that amazing. The length of the show, song selection, and straight up gorgeous visual effects, phenomenal. It's not that I didn't trust your opinions and insights, but I'm a dweeb and I didn't want anything spoiled before the experience. I look forward to going back and catching up to the foolishness I've missed the past few days. Also delighted to hear all the other great insights from your other programs. Long story short, Emily and I cannot wait to hear more Mr. and Mrs. Karen Morrow. P.S. Me and my son and some homies used to do a rap pod called Hip Hop Heads Podcast. We've been on a bit of a hiatus, but we'd love to pick your brain one of these days and talk some rapidy raps. Have an amazing day, please. Yeah, well, if y'all get that started back up, shoot me an email and I'll see if we can schedule something. Elise says, hey Rod and Karen, I just listened to maybe Tory Lanez fail episode. When you first started talking about David Hogg wanting to vote out career politicians, I thought, oh Lord, because for the most part I like that kid and didn't want to hear anything whack about him. I knew there was some talk around his primary and people, specifically Jim Clyburn, but I'm still on the news diet, so I didn't go down the rabbit hole. But when I heard the clip you played, bruh, disappointed isn't even the word. Get laid and have fun? Really? That's that fuckboy shit. Wonder how his other Parkland classmates feel about him pandering to the very young people are against gun control and probably many other issues they have stood for. Right. And so this is the fatal flaw of America, and this is the one weakness in even our white allies, right? There is nothing a white person can do to make people just give up on them.
Right.
And I shouldn't say a person, that's not fair. But there's nothing white people in mass can do. A large group of white people, there's nothing they can do in America that will make people go, that's just wrong. There is no coming back from that. And we need to excise them. That is not what happens. It is always some sort of like, well, emotionally, how did they get here? Then we start lying to ourselves. It must have been the economy that made the Ku Klux Klan kill those black people. Maybe those black people really are bad people, and they don't, like, it's everything except this. This is a bad person that we can't negotiate with, involve in anything. We can't save them. We can't convince them. They're never coming back.
Right.
These, David Hogg included, these Democrats, like David Hogg, these progressives, would rather lose the black vote in the South forever if they to chase the white vote in the Midwest that is never coming.
No, they're not coming.
And the white vote in the South that is never coming. They would rather chase that. Just bad money after good, right? Just throw money at it. We're going to go down there. We're going to convince these people. Bernie tried it first with I'm going to talk to Iowa and I'm going to talk to some, and it sounds great. But if you can't bring up anything about race when you're talking to these people, then all I'm hearing is you're talking to racist people. Why are you afraid to talk about it? Right? Well, they agree on the economy. You know who else would agree with you on the economy? Black people. You should be able to bring that up. You should be like, yeah, and while things are fucked up here in the Midwest, it's also fucked up for black people. And that's why we have to come together and unite in this fight. And instead, it's like, I better not bring up this black shit. People gonna get scared. It's weird, man. It's bad. But yeah, anyway, that shit is it's fucking us.
Mm-hmm.
Have to say I appreciate the riffs you do, Rod, on certain folks and subjects. You were spot on about Hogg. He's like the Gen Z version of Ezra Klein. Facts. The base of the Democratic Party is black people, particularly black women, but we're ignored and taken for granted while these folks pander to these people who ain't coming back and have no interest in coming back to the Democratic tent. Side note, I really appreciate politics until we get mad. That segment is my spirit animal. I'm glad we were able to package that into something that people could appreciate, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't look forward to that segment.
I've been mad from the beginning, truth be told.
Yeah, but I'm glad it still matters to people.
Me too.
And there was something else she said. Oh yeah, and the thing that's crazy to me is the thinking when it comes to black voters. And yeah, anyway, there are people I respect that will say shit like this, but it's like, where else they gonna go? Okay, keep thinking that.
Right.
Keep thinking that, because I think people are finding out right the fuck now in 2025. It is 5 months in, like 3-4 months into Trump's presidency. And I don't mean to be a dick about this, and I'm not saying this is gloating. I'm just saying, have you noticed how little black people seem to give a fuck about all this? Like, we finna go march, we about to protest, we about to do this, we gonna raise money for this thing. We care about us, we care about ourselves, we care about our community and what is happening to us. All this labor that was happening because we were just the backbone of the Democratic Party, and hey, we not free till we all get free. That shit is a luxury that happens when you're not so concerned with your own all-consuming self preservation that you can do a little something for everybody. But right now, motherfuckers need to find how they gonna eat. And that's the sadness, because everybody, we said this would happen. This wasn't hard to predict. It was like, okay, y'all let this shit slip back to Trump. This whole week, but black women will say, no, they won't. Well, we're gonna march for, no, we're not. You're gonna be out there yourself withholding your signs, and I hope you keep that same energy. I hope maybe enough of y'all will be able to change it. But this whole like black people about to get in line, okay, if you believe that, sure, give it a shot. But I'm gonna tell you right now, dog, David Hogg can complain to Bill Maher all he want. He need to go say that shit to a black town hall in South Carolina if he want to change how people vote in South Carolina, because if not, he's just another white man mad about black people and how we vote on TV. And honestly, that ain't never moved me. I ain't never went to the polls because I felt guilty because some white man that never been to my city think I should do something different. Come out here and pander to me the way you pander to them white folks that's unions that still vote against your dumb ass. Do that shit. Pander to me the way you vote. You pander to these Joe Rogan listening white boys that love guns that shot up your school. Pander to me like that, nigga. Pander to me the way you pander to Bill Maher, who shook hands with Donald Trump, sucked his dick, and came back with the cum on his face. Pander to me like that, nigga. Sorry, that got a little graphic. I like politics too. You get mad. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, no problem. And also to kind of add to that, I think that a lot of people, and I'm gonna keep it real, a lot of liberals, even a lot of Democrats, and all these people that are all across the board, when black people was telling them, if Kamala don't win, y'all, this ain't gonna be the same. Like, so many people kind of forewarned them. And a lot of black women say, I'm not doing shit. I will vote Democrat, but y'all not getting my label. I'm not doing no phone banks. I'm not raising no funds. I'm not getting it with my girlfriends. Like you know, or if I am on shit, I'm doing the bare minimum. Like y'all not gonna get this superstar that y'all had before, because literally, American public did not realize them vote for Kamala Harris was a smack in the face to the black community, particularly to the black women who overwhelmingly supported and vote for her, who are also the backbone of the Democratic Party. So y'all did it. Y'all thought we were bullshitting because things like this kind of happened before, and some time passes and it's time to go polling, or it's time to hit the streets, and you calling Sheila, you're calling Sandra, you're calling Deborah, you're doing your normal thing, and you're either going to voicemail, not picking up, or they're telling you no. And so now you're doing these rallies, and all of a sudden we look on the TV and it's a sea of white. They still killing us. They still having these rulings against us, but you know what's not happening? People, you don't have all this outrage. You don't have people being angry, and people are angry and mad online. Don't get me wrong, but not to the degree that it was before. You know what we're doing? We're going to see Beyonce. We're going to see Kendrick. We're going to see Todd the Creator. We're doing things within the community. We're like that's the shit we're doing. And the thing that's, in my opinion, the thing that's the most insulting part. We told y'all thought we were lying, and now you act like, well, you were telling the truth, bitch. Yes. So now you hear a lot of other people that say stupid shit like, where are y'all at? No, why? You didn't appreciate me when I was there. You act like me being there was not a big issue and that I will always be there. Where we gonna go? My black ass at home. Where we gonna go? No more marching and protesting. That's what we're gonna do. We still gonna vote Democrat. But like Roger's saying, that labor and put like this, like women at the house who cook and clean, that invisible labor that a lot of these white liberals and white Democrats take for granted, knocking on doors in the black community, places y'all bitches would never take y'all white asses into to reach these people because you're fucking afraid of us, like and shit like that, taking people to the polls and going down to all parts of middle of nowhere where black people are. You're not going to do that invisible labor work. You just assume the shit got done. And so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen within the next few years as time goes on and it gets worse and we are still not going to be moved.
Yeah, come do the work. Come convince people that you would be a better alternative. Everything else is just theatrics at this point.
Yes, sir.
And it's been like, at least for me, it's been 10, 12 years of y'all saying this, but not doing shit. At some point, I'll just believe y'all just like talking.
Yep.
You've had time to make the inroads. Green Party has had time to make the inroads.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to hear
Progressives have had time to make the inroads. If AOC thinks that it's easy to win as a Democrat in one of these middle of America constituencies where you just show up and say I'm more liberal than the other person, then send some people down there and do it. Go do it. Don't threaten me with a good time. If you think you would be better, I'm not adverse to voting for you. I have no loyalty to the idea of hey, this person is black, that's why I'm voting for them. And you know who else thinks like that? Every single black voter in the South. And if it wasn't true, then Tim Scott would just be a motherfucker that we all voted for president. But we're not stupid.
Right.
We're not just voting because these people are black. We're voting because they made inroads into the community, that have relationships that go back decades, that they put money and time and resources into the community. So you want to go beat them, you need to find a way to do the same thing. And you need to do it with a little bit of more of a fucking respect. And don't just talk crazy to us and talk down to us and talk bad about our representatives like we're all fucking sheep and somehow this guy just keeps getting elected because we're all fucking stupid.
Right.
Just talk to us the way you talk to the white people that just happen to keep electing Republicans. Like, not even Democrats that y'all don't like. They vote Republican. Why aren't y'all primarying Joe Manchin? Why aren't y'all primarying people like that? Like, because why? Because they voters is white? So you gotta talk to them nice? Fuck out of my face. All right, back to this though. I think there was a little bit more to go on this email. Oh yeah. Going a little further back, y'all once talked about podcast numbers and mentioned left-leaning ones. All freely criticize a pile on the Democrats. I had to wipe a lot of podcasts off my list, particularly Trevor Noah. I got tired of him and his crew constantly Monday morning quarterbacking the Dems while also always talking about how brilliant the orange one is. Anywho, I can't take Hawk seriously anymore, and he gets no respect. I thought he was punk rock. Yeah, I don't listen to Trevor Noah's podcast like that. I literally tap in like once every few months to hear
consistently.
Like,
yeah, I do listen, but not consistently.
Yeah, so I don't know what their political commentary is, but I mean, Trevor Noah and like I said on Bigger Bubbles, if you guys want to go listen to that, which you alluded to, I think I summarized it all. Like, I don't expect these people to really be honest. And I don't know how much of it is them being honest and how much of it is it's all a game to them and how much of it is honestly you can't get to be Trevor Noah if you're the kind of nigga that's like, no, Donald Trump is bad. There's nothing good we shouldn't be applauding him in any way. There's nothing funny about this motherfucker. Like, then you become a person that is not allowed to have a platform like that.
Right.
Lastly, I finally made it to see Sinners. Say your podcast about it with your two guests, Mike and Bossy from the Idea of Podcast, to listen to after I saw it. What a great conversation. You know how pimping ain't easy. Well, neither was staying away from spoilers means just postings and think pieces about Sinners. I'm proud of the Jedi mind trick I had to do to be fresh for me. And boy, was it. Listening to your episode the day after, I was surprised to hear about the pounding the character Grace was taking online. My outlook for her was similar to both of yours. My only critique was, right, you kept saying the movie took place in the 20s, well, actually it was the 30s because of the date of the day of the story started October 16, 1932, because that was my Uncle Anderson's birthday. It stuck out to me. Yeah, and I did that on purpose because I don't like your Uncle Anderson. I didn't want you to find out. I did not want you to find out this way. It's very awkward because now we were just vibing and we were talking about politics and everything was going good.
Don't you believe, Rod?
That nigga know what he did. Uncle Anderson, I'll never forget it. As far as I'm concerned, the 30s did not happen in America. It goes straight from the 20s to the 40s. Anything that happened in the 30s is the 20s
Don't
to me.
count.
As always, thank you both for all that you do. Keep us informed, engaged, and laughing. Oh, yeah, I heard about the last day of COVID sale ending May 15th at midnight. On May 16th. God damn it. That's all, folks. Lily from Brooklyn. Thank you, Lily from Brooklyn.
You.
I appreciate you listening.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just joking about your Uncle Anderson, okay? I made a mistake. It happens. Players fuck up. All right, y'all. That's it for today. Thanks for listening. We'll be back throughout the week. I know next week, the first week of June, we're heavy with guests, but this next couple weeks, I think we don't have anything booked right now, so we'll talk to you guys throughout the week as episodes come up. Enjoy the WNBA returning today. Enjoy game 7 of the NBA conference round.
Congratulations to the Knicks.
Shout out to Go New York, Go New York,
Go New York, go New York, go.
Okay, Knicks, Pacers, everything old is new again.
Ain't it though? I'm excited about that. I don't know who gonna win. Chad, I see that going to a game 7.
Tyrese Halliburton gonna do the choking thing like Reggie.
Let's go.
What's gonna happen?
I am here for it.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all next time. Until then, I love you.
I love you too. Mwah.
Bye, everybody.